get a passport.
Is Steve Lonegan, who is running for Congress in New Jersey. But Steve Lonegan is not Jewish, but he has done so much for Judaism and for Jewish people across the country. He actually is the person who's responsible for the entire Erev in Teaneck, and he did it when he was mayor in Bogota. And he actually twinned Bogota with Bet El in Israel. Very few mayors, Jewish or non-Jewish, have ever done that. He has been endorsed by David Bossie and Corey Lewandowski. And many of you know him from his work with various campaigns like Ted Cruz and Steve King. Here he is, Steve Lonegan.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. You know, something amazing happened 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you paid attention. At a massive rally in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, a rally dominated by overwhelmingly Christian, evangelical, Catholic, Protestant. A rally held by Donald Trump. The president listed his accomplishments. But the one accomplishment that he listed that got the loudest, the longest, and the strongest applause, a cheering ovation, was when he announced that he had moved our embassy to Jerusalem. Why would that be? Because those of us Christians understand that our Judeo-Christian shared values, our values, born of the Old Testament, born of Judea, born of Israel, are the very foundation of the liberty and the freedom that has made this the greatest nation on the planet Earth and the greatest ally to Israel. But the left-wing media didn't report that part. No. Instead, they reported on the fury of the liberal Europeans, the United Nations, and Democrats in this country who were furious with Israel because they said they reacted with excessive and undue force against the Iranian-funded Hezbollah and jihadist riots along the border of Israel. Excessive force, they said. Only excessive because no Israelis died. Thank goodness. There is no such thing as excessive force in the destruction of terrorism. And this administration, under Donald Trump, understands that. Folks, I've seen the face of terrorism. I traveled across Israel myself with the Hebron Fund in 2004. I met face to face, sat down, and shared the anguish of victims of terrorism, those that lost their families, their children, their wives. This country has a zero tolerance for terrorism, and we should never forget that. But I'd like to report to you that the movement of the embassy to Jerusalem and the defunding of the Iranian efforts to build nuclear weapons and become a force against our allies is having an effect. You see, the Iranian government understands that under this president, we can crush them. In Iran today, the Iranian government is in turmoil. The rial is in a free fall. Across Iran, good Iranians, as we stand here today, are organizing and prepared to revolt against this terrorist regime. That's the result of this administration. And if you notice, the European Union elitists, the United Nations, are suddenly quiet in their condemnations of Israel, so prolific and so empowered under the regime of Barack Hussein Obama and our former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. We cannot go back to those days again if Israel is to strive and to thrive. Folks, those of us who support Israel and understand our shared values cannot become complacent. We cannot go back to those days. As I'm standing here now, there are Democrats telling people in Israel to stop talking about how Donald Trump is, something we all know, the most pro-Israel president in American history. Instead, they say, be quiet, because if we get back control, you will pay the price. We cannot afford to give back control to the anti-Israel Democrat Party of the United States of America. You need to elect a Republican majority that will support President Trump and support Israel every single day. And don't be mistaken, you're going to hear from some Democrats that are going to tell you they're really with Israel. Those are sleeper cells. The facts are incontrovertible. Republicans back Israel 100% stronger than ever always has, and Democrats are abandoning Israel in droves. If the Democrats get control of the houses of representatives, there will be a switch that we flipped, and those state they're pro-Israel will suddenly vote the party line the way they were required to do. This is a key moment in American history this year, apparently, and most important, a key moment for the future of the defense of Israel, our allies. God bless you. God bless America.
I'm watching the review.